Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita, Khemka, and my colleague here.
Hello there. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon because I'm coming from the leave. Once again on the show with Nandita.
Sure, Yatin, the way you said good morning, good evening, good afternoon, I thought, it was a rub-off effect of what happened last night with the IPL match, with RCB, of course, winning the maiden title, lifting the trophy after a long wait of 18 years. And of course, good news there for Virat Kohli fans as well. He has been with the franchisee since the start. So it was a painful 18-year wait for Virat. But nevertheless, he has been rewarded for his loyalty. And that's how things were really going to pan out. As he says, God's plan. So that was really God's plan when it comes to the IPL trophy for Virat Kohli in particular. But optimism on the Lal Street as well. Some bit of green after 3 days of losing streak. We saw the Nifty closing above that 24,600 mark. The broader end of the markets took a pause yesterday, Yatin, wherein the midcap index ended in the red. But today, the midcap index is outperforming once again, almost 0.7% kind of gain on the Nifty midcap index. But the good thing is that India VIX has been cooling. Even though markets were down, the India VIX was cooling since yesterday. Today as well, there's a 4% cool off on the India VIX index. In terms of sectors, most of them were in the green. Yesterday, Nifty Bank Index hit a fresh record. It has been consolidating ever since. So today as well, no big moves on the Nifty Bank Index. But gains were led by the likes of metals, IT, etc. Realty was one pocket that saw gains over the last 2 sessions, but today came under some bit of a profit taking. In terms of gainers on the Nifty, then you had all these quick commerce names like Eternal, Swiggy doing well. So Eternal on the Nifty was the top gainer. Geo Financial, that was among the gainers. Bharti Airtel, a bullish report from Macquarie. We'll be talking about that in just a bit. So Bharti was among the top gainers. IndusInd Bank among gainers, Reliance Industries and Bharat Electronics. On the flip side, what didn't do well was Bajaj Finserv. Yesterday also it was a laggard. Trent, Shriram Finance, Axis Bank, TCS, these are some of the other laggards. But Yatin, quite a few high flyers when it comes to the broader end of the markets. I also want to point out that there were, a spate of block deals today.
Yes.
The stocks were reacting to that, and defense names continue to rage on, right?
Right. And, so do railway stocks. So as you mentioned, mid and small cap indices, nearly percent higher for all of those stocks, and the advance decline ratio looking healthy. Almost at 3 stocks advancing for 2 declining. Now, if you look at the top gainers, obviously we have the railway stocks like Ircon, Realty doing well, 10% higher for all of them. Swiggy also doing 9%, in terms of momentum. Also, we have Zomato, which recovered in trade after yesterday's fall, 3% higher for that stock. Probably the reason why, both these quick commerce companies and food delivery, companies were in focus because Zepto, may see, a delay in their IPO according to the Moneycontrol report. So probably, the competition like Swiggy and Zomato would cheer. What also was not doing well in the market was ABFRL. Post the block deal, the stock saw 11% fall. In fact, the block deals happened in the range of 81 rupees. And we had Flipkart, which sold nearly shares worth 600 crores, approximately 6% equity according to our sources. However, the stock slipped nearly 5% even after the block deal. So clearly weak demand in ABFRL. If you call, other, stocks which had block deals, one was Indegene. Also, ended at the day's low, 590 for that stock, 5% down for that one. We also have Chola Holdings after the brokerage note pointed out that there could be slower growth than earlier anticipations. That stock was down 4%. Also, other stocks have been in focus. PI Industries, that stock was up 4%. We'll talk about that in detail. But clearly, stocks like ABFRL, Indegene in focus after multiple block deals reported in the counter.
All right. It's been raining block deals. I think yesterday as well there were 4 block deals, and a lot of other stocks were also moving, of course, as Yatin pointed out. But let's talk about Sun Pharma and SPARC.
Yes.
The duo was in focus today. In fact, there's a bitter pill for these 2 companies, and SPARC was the one that saw the most damage. 20% drop on the share prices of SPARC. Of course, that's on the back of failed drug trials. The phase 2 trials for SCD-044, that's the psoriasis drug, that failed to meet primary efficacy endpoints. Now, this drug was being tested in the treatment of psoriasis and atopic dermatitis. But Sun Pharma has disclosed that the drug did not meet primary endpoints in either study, and as a result, the development of this drug is being discontinued with no further clinical trials being planned. Now, the drug was considered to be one of the key assets in SPARC's specialty pipeline, I think, which is why that particular stock saw a knee-jerk reaction, a 20% drop coming in. And of course, Sun Pharma and SPARC, both these companies will be assessing the next steps for the compound going forward. Also, Sun Pharma has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Yesterday, CNBC TV 18 reported that there has been a surprise inspection at its flagship Halol unit. It is the largest unit, one of the largest units of Sun Pharma, and as many as 3 US FDA inspectors are inspecting the facility currently. In fact, the unit was last inspected in May 2022. 3 years ago, and it is currently under an import alert post the warning letter. So, of course, because of this regulatory hurdle or development, we saw Sun Pharma shares under pressure yesterday as well. And today, of course, there's a fresh set of bad news that has weighed in on the stock prices as well. In fact, talking about SPARC, it fell to a 1-month low on the back of the discontinuation of this drug, psoriasis drug. And looking at Sun Pharma's numbers, they weren't great either, Yatin. The stock has in fact seen a drop of 10% or so in the last 1 month. Guidance was soft, US sales disappointed, so things not looking all that flowery or healthy for Sun Pharma as well. So this duo was in focus because of this development on this psoriasis drug. Let's see what the companies do when it comes to assessing the future trajectory going forward, but that perhaps could be the next trigger for at least SPARC.
Yes, and clearly instead of Sun Pharma, I think SPARC, that stock has seen a setback in several other drug discovery programs. I think couple of months back we had negative news that trials have failed, and now for psoriasis also the phase 2 clinical trials have been stopped immediately. So it doesn't augur well for SPARC, because their primary business is to develop molecules, and any kind of setback on the drug development program, be it psoriasis drug or various other oncology drugs that they're working on, could be a negative for the future cash flows, and hence a 20% reaction for that stock. But keeping it to the molecule front and the chemicals front, we also have PI Industries, which moved nearly 5% in intraday trade. PI Industries moved after the Japanese agrochemical major Kumai revised their first half guidance. Now, the first half guidance for PI Industries is important because Kumai is one of their premier customers, one of the large customers, and Kumai's semi-annual forecast has been now increased by nearly 9% for sales, and on the operating profit they are expecting a 34% better than previous estimates revision. So these revisions are basically done by Kumai because they believe that the shipments are picking up when it comes to agrochemical and demand for agri products. Not only that, the first half in terms of pricing is also much better than the previous forecast. So first half the guidance has been increased. However, for the full year, Kumai has not made any changes to the guidance because they would like the first half to finish first and then revise the H2 guidance depending on the market situation. So H1 clearly much better than the street expectations, and hence a very positive reaction on the share price of PI Industries.
PI Industries there, positive triggers, and the stock has been on an upward trajectory over the last 3 months. I think it has logged in a 30% rally since the month of March. But let's take stock of Bharti Airtel as well. Positive brokerage note that sent the stock gaining in trade. In fact, it is one of the top Nifty gainers today, 2% kind of gains on a stock of Bharti Airtel. Macquarie has a fairly bullish report on the stock, wherein they have an outperform call, and the target price is at 2,050 rupees. They've hiked the target price by 14%. Earlier, the target price was 1,800 rupees or thereabouts. But this time around, they've said that the odds of the bull case on Airtel have improved, wherein they see a target price of 2,350 rupees on the stock price going forward. In fact, Airtel also features in its India Super 6 stock picks. as a core idea among the domestic facing stocks. They've of course reiterated positive view on the fundamentals of India's telecom sector as well. They see an effective industry tariff rate hike trajectory going forward, higher free cash flow and improving return on invested capital going forward, which is why they are fairly bullish on the entire telecom space as a whole. Talking about Airtel in particular, in their base case, Macquarie assumes an 11% growth in Bharti Airtel's average revenue per user and to somewhere around 290 rupees or thereabouts by FY27. Now it applies a valuation multiple of 13 times EV to EBITDA and fair value improves to 1920 rupees in the base case, led by a higher mobile business multiple and a lower net debt. In the bull case scenario, as I pointed out, they see a target price of 2,350 rupees, 27% upside from Tuesday's close price, but ARPUs in the bull case scenario are seen at 300 rupees per 300 rupees. Of course, that is a 22% growth compared to the FY25 exit, and also the level that Chairman Sunil Bharti Mittal has been calling for. And valuation multiple here will be 15 times EV EBITDA. And in the bear case scenario, which is less likely according to the brokerage, they say that the ARPUs are seen at 275 rupees and the valuation multiple would be 10 times EV to EBITDA for India mobile business, resulting in a fair value of 1450 rupees. That's almost 20 to 22% downside from Tuesday's price. But there's just a 10% case of that happening going forward, because they are not expecting valuation multiples to derate here on. So yes, the call on the stock is fairly bullish on the back of tariff hike when it comes to the industry, and of course if you look at the stock price, it has been on an upward trajectory. It has gained in double digits, 18% or so on a year to date basis. Bharti Airtel, I think doing well, and the call from Macquarie is fairly bullish.
Yes, and I think the kind of health that Vodafone is currently facing, I think clearly they need the tariff hike rather than anybody else. And if Vodafone clearly increases the tariffs with the support of the government and the other telecom companies, I think Bharti will also benefit,
Yes.
and so will Jio. So I think the next tariff hike, which was expected, in FY26, the current
Yes.
financial year, it needs to be seen whether it comes in the first half or the second half. But yes, ARPU, is something that analysts do believe that would improve for Bharti at the most, versus any other telecom company.
Well, that's about all the stocks we had on our list this afternoon. Of course, we've ended the day on a positive note. Remember, this is a crucial week given the fact that we had the RBI credit policy outcome on Friday. It has the MPC meeting has kicked off today. Expectations are of a 25 basis point rate cut. Whether or not there's an outside chance of 50 basis point, if that happens, whether it will be a trigger for the market to get past that 25,000 mark, which has been the resistance zone so far, and we'll have to see. But yes, it is a crucial week, and of course RBI policy, keep that on your radar. But with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Closing Bell. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned to Money Control for all your other news and updates, and we'll catch you with the markets tomorrow morning. Have a great evening.